Welcome to this episode of Brilliant Brains and Beautiful Minds. Today we're talking all things daydreams, dream teams, and how to add a little spritz into your day. Any ideas yet? She is the founder of One Day Dream PR, The Dream Team, and most recently, Batch & Co. Please welcome the amazing Pru Corrigan.
Hi, Melanie. How are you?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm just dealing with lockdown as best as I can at the moment. I'm a little bit over it though. A little bit over it.
Yep. These same four walls in a one-bedroom apartment, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. I know.
yeah.
We're down at our farm at the moment, and I think if I see a goat, a cow, or horse, or the lake again, I'm just gonna be like, oh my God, it's just like Groundhog Day. So,
It so is like Groundhog
mm,
Day. And it just feels like you're just doing laps and the same thing. I
it
was trying to
is.
walk around my one-bedroom apartment doing laps, and I was just, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I feel like you're going bananas, really,
I
but
know. I will never
yeah.
complain about the office again, ever, ever.
Oh, isn't that funny? My 5 a.m. alarm clocks for, shoots, never like, cool, off we go.
Exactly, exactly.
Oh, so today we're going to be chatting with you about your brand's product development, personal branding, and creative inspiration. So it's pretty exciting. But I just thought to mix it up a little bit with what we're doing, I
Mm.
have one of your amazing batch and codes. Actually, I've got a few of them, so it might be one afternoon for me.
I
Um,
love it.
so I just couldn't go past this beautiful pale mint green. So I'm going to have a bit of a spritz while we do this one, and
I
while
have
we're
one of them too. So cheers. Woo!
while we're in ISO, I've
Oh,
become a bit of an
exactly.
alco.
Exactly.
But
I know. I think haven't we all? That's the problem. So
oh,
cheers.
cheers, no judgment.
Exactly.
Well, let's get started and get into this. But I just
Sure.
wanted to go back in time. Where did you see yourself in your younger years? And it could be, a couple of different points on the journey. Where did you see yourself position-wise, from a career point of view? What would you think you might do?
Yeah. Well, originally I was studying acting. So I did a lot of amateur theatre. I was studying speech and drama with the Trinity College of London. I was doing private lessons. I did that basically from about the age of 7 through till 18. And I loved it. I truly loved it. I then left school and went into international trade. So I got into international trade, which, look, I just didn't do that well in year 12, I'll be completely honest. And international trade was there. And I took the university degree. I lasted 18 months there and said, this is not for me. And I guess I'd started, a few friends had said, I think you'd be great in PR, ended up getting into a PR course. And then during that time, I started to get lead roles at theatre companies, local theatre companies here in Melbourne. And I really had this sliding doors moment as I was offered a job office as well as a coordinator role as to whether I take the lead role on stage or whether I go into sports girl. And my mother said, I'm not going to support an unpaid actress. I suggest you get a job. And the next thing you know, I'm at sports girl, and I was in PR and became brand manager there and was there for 6 years. And that led into the rest of my career. So really sliding door moments, but I always wanted to be an actress, and it definitely, was a dream and is a dream. And I don't know whether it'll ever come back again, but we'll see. We'll see.
Wow.
I think I act every day anyway in some way. So, you've got to make
Yeah.
things exciting. So, yeah.
How exciting those, but I think, so I came from a performing arts background as well.
Oh, okay.
Not so much acting, but dancing and doing shows and performing, and did a little bit of drama, which I loved. But yeah,
Yeah.
but I think the skills that you learn from performance, and there's a confidence that it brings you, and it doesn't mean that you're necessarily sometimes, yeah, I'm ready to go. Like I was even nervous just today before the interview. It's only because I do want to do a great job, and you get that butterflies. But I think
Yeah.
from a performance background, you know how to handle that, and you know what it is.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think, going on stage and sitting in front of an audience, yes, they're going to judge you from the moment that you walk on. So if you're walking into a meeting or you're jumping onto a phone call, whatever it is, people will absolutely judge. And I've always felt if I can bring light and laughter into a situation, and people can feel good around my energy, then that will open up amazing things, which is what acting essentially does on stage too. You bring the audience into your character and get them engaged from the beginning, and that's how you can build great relationships and success.
Yeah, I love that. And I think you probably use that so well within your job and through your businesses and just even chatting with you. There's just, there is there's that amounts of energy, and it's magnetic, I find. And when you find people like that, I like to gravitate towards them, and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
cool, what can we talk about? Where can this conversation go? And let's let
me
our
too.
minds run wild. So who knows where this conversation's going to end up.
But you and I spent about 15 minutes before we got on. Just were like, we better start recording now. So
Yeah, but let's hit the record button because that's what I'm here for. Okay, so
uh,
all right, so performance art background and moving forward, and then you sort of had this sliding doors moment. When you went to, did you, once you went to work for Sports Girl, and within that
mm.
process, when was it that you thought, "Oh, I could actually be great at this and create something on my own? Like how far along that journey?
Yeah, I was really fortunate to start with the Sports Girl brand in 2000 when Naomi Milgram had just bought it out. And she was on a journey of really bringing Sports Girl back to the forefront. So hard for us all to believe, but it was a damaged brand for quite some time. And then in 2000, it really turned around and became every young woman's favorite place. I mean, it was the leading fast fashion store at that
Mm.
stage. And so I was lucky to work with Mary Porters, who is out of the UK. She turned around Harvey Nicks. She has an agency called Yellow Door, and she really came into Sports Girl and turned around the campaigns, turned around the visual merchandising, turned around our thoughts in terms of how we were going to buy and position and trends. And she was incredible. And I think being a young person, I was 21 at that stage, and being a young person and watching her perform every day when she was
Mm.
giving us the information and explaining the dream of how we were going to change Sports Girl, that really inspired me, I guess, 6 years later to go, you know what, yeah, I'd love to have my own agency and be able to inspire others. The confidence that she used and the power that she gave all of us because we felt so powerful through what we were transforming together,
Mm.
was really key. And culture was key to her too. So you had a team of people that had come together from all different walks of life, experience, no experience. And there was like 50 of us in head office. And we were all going towards the one vision to change Sports Girl. And I think that, and again, that's like acting on stage with a team of people for a
Yeah.
production. It's the same thing. So, yeah, I think that experience really turned me into starting my first agency, which was Two Birds Talking, and then
Yes.
obviously leading into One Day Dream. So, yeah.
How amazing. And I think just to having such a great mentor at a young age really would have just imparted so much knowledge and just, yeah, when someone is great and they empower you, it's amazing what it does to a team. Just being kind and empowering and giving people that strength to go, right, go for it. Let's go. See where you can take it.
Absolutely. And she was really switched on. Her and Naomi, and a very successful businesswoman too, being Naomi. The two of them could see the potential in people too, which I found quite amazing to sit back and watch. So they could see the people that really wanted to be on board, that they could really push, and they started to figure out how far they could push these particular people as well to really take them to the next level. And through that, we were given amazing life coaching sessions. If we were working all weekends and we were doing roadshows all around Australia, we'd be getting spa days out of the office. And I mean, we really were treated like we were part of a family. And I think that was, a huge part of what I was, hoping to replicate in my business, but also giving brands the knowledge of how to take a brand from something to huge success, which I saw with Sports Girl.
Yeah. And how would you, so yeah, talking about how you've sort of created that same energy within your team, how big's your team between Sydney and Melbourne now?
So we have 10 girls. There is more up in Sydney. So from a PR perspective, obviously all the media is up in Sydney. So we run more girls up there. And then we have 4 girls down in the Melbourne office, and we do more of the talent management down in Melbourne.
Yes.
So yeah, so 10 of it. So obviously the communication between Melbourne and Sydney can be tough, but Zoom is there, and
Yeah.
conversations are there, and communication is what we do every day. So the girls are really good at picking up the phone and having the conversation. I'm like, don't send any more emails, pick up that phone and just talk to me, because
Yeah.
we can move so much quicker. So
I yeah, I think yeah, having those quick conversations. Do you do a lot of team meetings and like boosting, team morale and keeping everyone together, especially in these times at the moment?
yeah, absolutely. We've got the girls, or the team. Sorry, I have Shane now with me. He's actually my first boy within One Day Dream, which
Oh,
is awesome because we don't see a lot of boys in PR. They just
no.
don't gravitate to the industry. So Shane is with us, and we now do Spotify lists. So each of us have created Spotify lists for the week, so you can inspire people by your music, and you can listen to, you know, what Ali's listening to, or Michelle or Pru or whatever it might be. We send funny memes to each other. I mean, we're constantly, you know, doing jokes. We're just doing little things like that we would probably do in the office on a daily basis, but we're just not doing because we're all in lockdown. So we have weekly whips, you know, and then we break out into our clients, and we're very blessed. We still have clients in the agency, and the clients been wonderful to work with, and we've been pivoting, but yeah, we do our breakouts into those smaller teams as well. So, but there's lots of communication going on for sure.
One thing I find really interesting, so you've obviously gone from working for a brand, then having a partnership with a business, and then now you've moved into it's your business, obviously with a great team. When you shift gears, going from one to the other, or whenever even you're adding another layer to your business, which you've done really successfully, what would you say is your process? Like, do you think about it, strategize it, or do you just have a gut feeling and just let it all go?
Yeah, I love. I love this one. I definitely have a gut feeling, and I definitely wing it a lot. Um, but I think with, you know, with changing from two birds to one day dream, that was a massive move for me. That certainly wasn't something that was taken lightly either. That was 9 years in a business, starting at a very young age of 27 and creating a PR agency in an already thriving world of PR. So we were like the new kids on the block. And I think it just got to a time in that business where I'd lost the passion. I'd also had a baby, so I'd lost the passion. I thought I'd lost the passion for PR, and I actually didn't think I was worthy or I knew how to do it anymore, which is amazing to think that you get to that point after having a baby, after being, 11 years in the industry, 12 years in the industry at that stage. And it was crazy. So that was a huge decision to move, but I knew I had to, because I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't being true to my business partner, nor the girls that work for me. We had 20 staff at Two Birds Talking at that stage. It was a really, I've never really spoken about it either, but it was a really, really, really tough time and a tough decision. So my husband, God love him, was like, I need to get you out of here. I need to get you to figure out where your head's at. And he had met a guy called Roger Hamilton, who is a great spiritual entrepreneur. And he took me to a session. Yeah, write him down. I'm going to send you some links
Got
after
my
this
pen
too.
and paper?
Yeah, you can share it with everybody too. He's great. And I went to see him on a weekend in Melbourne, and I walked in and I could feel my body language. I was negative. I was unhappy. I was like, I didn't want to talk to the person next to me. I was like, what is wrong with you? What is going on? Hated it. Negative Nelly the minute I walked in the door. By the end of it, I was hands in the air. I was jumping. I was hugging the person next to me. I was like, and this was after 2 days, and I booked a 2-week transformation iLab session with him in Bali at his Vision Villas. And the next thing you know, I was on a plane to Bali, meeting people from around the world, and literally ripping an old head off and putting a new head on, in terms of where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, what was my passion, what was my purpose, why was I doing it? And all sorts of things. And that was kind of the changing point into One Day Dream. And then that led me to create the Dream Team, and then also Batch and Co. Yeah.
For you to stay ahead of the curve on a creative level, or in business, what would be your probably one main thing that you've gone, okay, this is how I do that jump. This is how I take that next step. Is there a process, or is it something that you just...
No, I think, well, it's funny, you know, I remember pitching to a client 5 years ago to do a digital catwalk, you know, a virtual catwalk. And I remember, you know, virtual reality to me back then, I've been reading a lot of articles about the future of it. And for me, like, to host a PR event when people aren't actually physically with you, and you're sitting on your couch and I'm here and we can all click in, but then there might be an avatar of me or the founder of the company in your living room, is just blows my mind to the exciting point of, wow, this is like next level. I love it. I remember going to Disney World and watching, have you been into the 4D Shrek ride, where you get all the components? So look, smell, feel, see, the whole thing is all there. And so you get like wind blown in your face out of the seat in front of you. And then the chair is rocking, and you go through this whole visual experience, but the physical experience is there too. So I think it's always been coming. I think the world's been preparing, not for coronavirus, but obviously for things to be done at home so that we can be more global. And I think that just what we're seeing now has sped everything up. So staying ahead of the curve, I think I had some great ideas. The challenge was actually getting brands to step over into that and to convince them
Yeah.
to feel like that is something that they could do. That would probably be the biggest challenge, because I think a lot of people sometimes play it safe. And I
Yeah.
think also a lot of people sometimes don't understand the value of PR. I think that's a huge thing within my agency and world or industry of PR
Yes.
at the moment, where I'm trying to get to people to understand the value of it and how important it is in the mix. And it doesn't mean that it's going to make you instant sales, but if you have patience and you can go on that journey, there's great success for you at the end of that. So, yeah.
It's so true. And I think because a lot of the followers that I have are artists and creatives and things like that as well. So I think what you're saying there is when people are building their personal brand as well, they have to, A, have clarity over what it is. And I'm sure you can give me a couple of your top three things for personal branding. But I think they have to be able to market themselves and they need to PR themselves, because there's no point doing all this work and nobody knows about you,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
always, nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if there was creatives out there, and this is a great time to sort of sit back and work out purpose, their own personal branding, what would you say if there were three things to spend the time getting to know that part of their business? Because a lot of artists just are who they are, and even as a performer, you would have known. You just like, oh well, here I am, and you let the agent do the work. But what could people do to get clear around their personal brand identity?
Yeah, we work a lot on that with the dream team. So,
Yeah.
and I do push a lot of people to uncomfortable point, because I was pushed to uncomfortable point and I had to get uncomfortable to be comfortable with who I am, really, at the end of the day. But I did write some, sorry, I'm looking down because I did write some notes as well on this.
Go for it.
So I think, standing for something, what will people know you for? I think there's a lot of people, especially influencers out there on Instagram at the moment, that are everything for everyone. And you really need to hone in on what are you going to be known for? What are people coming to your channel? Because it's your little media world that you've created. What are they coming to you for? Whether that's fashion, beauty, makeup artistry, cooking, fitness. Make sure that you
Yeah.
stick in that lane and you own it and you stick to that and don't divert. I think a lot of people can get in trouble there.
Yeah.
Don't be everything to everyone either. You don't need to be who you are and be real. And stay in your lane and don't try and be anyone else. There is a lot of competition out there, and there's a lot of people, it's competitive. Let me put it that way. It's competitive.
Yep.
So just stay in your lane, do your thing, and people will come to you because they know that you're being genuine, because you're speaking the truth. I think when I was younger, in my 20s, I really suffered with a lot of fear. And I think that we bring a lot of what our childhood has knocked into us into our adulthood. So I don't think I had the skill set or the mentality to understand how to deal with that. And then as I got into my 30s, whatever you do, but I got married, I had a baby. I was in already a fairly, growing and successful business at Two Birds, and then life changed. And, there was a lot of uncertainty and fear about what the next steps are and where am I going and what is my purpose and all that sort of stuff. I think confidence definitely helps you kick the fear. It is a mind game. Every day is a mind game for all of us. And if you don't keep that mind in check and you in check, it can really get out of control. And I've definitely been in that situation. Look, I found mentors and different people. I went and saw a white witch, who Rebecca is awesome. And it was really about shifting energies, because we do carry a lot of energies internally. And so how do we shift that so that whatever I was putting out, I was going to get back? So, a lot of people don't understand that what they're actually putting out is what they're getting back. So you put out fear, and fear is going to come and slap you real hard.
Sure does. Oh, was that of a movie? I just they had like a wet fish and they just went slap you across the face and it just
True.
hits you.
I know, it's crazy. And I never believed that that could happen. But when I became aware of it, it's exactly, I was creating it. I actually created all of it. So
Yep.
you have to take the responsibility on yourself and be able to get the head in the right space to be able to, turn it around. So speaking to people and communication is the best thing. Exercising is really good too. I mean, I'm not great at exercising, but I'm like, I'd prefer to pick up a spritz. But,
Hey, babe, weight training.
I know, exactly. Really helps. Exactly, exactly. It's all those things. You just have to keep picking yourself up. As I said, if no one's died, you're going to be okay
Yeah.
because everything can be fixed.
I think just for the audience as well, there was a question that I had in my notes for Pru, and basically it was around sort of failure and rejection, and within what she has to do for a job every day, you're basically pitching ideas. Now, as a creative, your ideas, like I don't have kids, these are my babies. Like I'm like, wah, wah, and they're
Yeah.
personal. They're a part of me because I get excited by them, and then you're putting it out there, and someone's like, nah, sorry. And it's like, or you've got the wrong hair color if you're going for an audition, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and it's how do you, because sometimes that process, and it is grief to a point because you've got to, you work through it, all your emotions out there, and then you do the circle, okay, this one's not being ended up where I thought it would be. How do you knock that out and take that step forward? Like what would you say is like the mental process, or like what happens in your mind to be able to go, okay, great, that wasn't a success. What did I learn from it? How do I get forward? How do I move forward?
Yeah. We had something recently with coronavirus where we had to pitch a whole heap of new ideas for all our existing clients. And one of the ideas that we came up with, I thought was fantastic. I was so, so excited by it. I think the client did too, but when it was pitched to the next level up, it was like, no, not going to happen. So I was like, what? This is brilliant. This is going to put you on the map, like what? This is crazy. Anyway, I think I just had to, it's not personal. Any of it's not personal. And it's about what that person's looking for, at the right time as well. I think even with the dream team, if I'm pitching them out, putting them into jobs and somebody else gets it, it's usually about that person at the other end who's selecting it already knowing what they want. And it might just be that you just weren't right for that, but there will be something else for you. So with the idea, yep, it didn't work, but we transformed it into something that was similar, but yet not with exactly the same outcome, but everybody was happy at the end of the day. And, they're my clients. So I have to adhere to what they want and their wishes as well, and make sure that they're feeling comfortable with it too, but
Yep.
also push in a good way so that they do get out of their comfort zones a little
Yep.
bit as well. So there's always a balance. It's a real balance.
Yeah. So how do you find from managing clients to then managing talent, what would be the biggest difference for you within that?
I think, with the PR clients, they have a brand. So, and usually, well, not all of them, but most of the ones that are with me already have an established brand over the past 5-10 years. There are a few startups that are with me, but most of them are established. So really it's about creating newness for them. It's about creating newness, creating angles, keeping them relevant, and keeping media and I guess other influencers wanting to talk about them. With the dream team, it's much more personal. We become like best friends. We really deep dive into what their dreams and passions are. And I ask them, all the time, what do you want? What do you want out of this? I probably don't ask a brand as much about that because it's more structured and what's coming in every month, and we know what the retails are doing, and we're in promo plans, and it's a little
Yep.
different. Whereas a person is so much more personable, funnily enough, because they're there, and it's them, it's their emotion, it's their heart, it's their soul, it's everything that they stand for, and it's really just trying to get the genuine side out of them. I mean, brands need to be genuine as well, there's no two ways about it, but when
Yep.
you're a person, I don't think you can hide as much as what sometimes a brand can behind their product. So,
Yep.
even with my spritz, it's a product, but you're not seeing me every day when you're drinking it, although you are today. So like,
I am today.
exactly,
Every now time I
exactly.
pick one up, you'll be in my mind, Prue.
Yeah, exactly. But do you know what I mean? Like that's the alignment. So with a person, yeah, it's a lot different. We do a lot of work together on, getting the results, and really focusing on what they want personally out of it
Yeah.
versus anything else. So yeah.
I did want to ask you, bringing back the can,
Yeah.
what did you find the biggest challenge in product development? Like, I know you've developed a spritz,
Mm.
but there's a lot of people that I talk to in the makeup world who want to create a makeup product, and I'm assuming there's a process for everything. But what would have been your biggest hurdle in bringing a product to life, and how did you
Mm.
overcome it?
Yeah. We so as I said earlier, my husband and I had the idea to create a great tasting drink without the preparation time. And we definitely were
I'm off
the
of that right now.
chemists behind that. Thank you, thank you. We definitely were the chemists behind that. We were lucky to have Thomas Kiltorp, who we had a business with, we had bars with, and he created these flavors, and through that we developed these drinks. Now this has taken 4 years. This is not something that just all of a sudden we're here and we have a spritz. The spritz itself is under a year old, so about 11
Yep.
months old at the moment. But previous to that, we created non-alcoholic mixes because we could see the rise of the non-alcoholic mix as well. So the flavors took Thomas such a long time to create. I mean, he has an amazing palate, so he can come up with flavor and say, what do you think of this? And how does this taste? And so through that, he was able to create some of those. But then the whole process through, do we carbonate? Do we not carbonate? What does the consumer want? What do the retailers want? I mean, that process is really research, meetings, conversations, and how do we get to that point? And then where do we mix it? And where is our canning facilities versus where is the product coming from? Because a lot of it was coming from overseas. So we learned a hell of a lot in a very short amount of time when we first produced the non-alcoholic mixes, which was about 3 years ago. And that, I think looking back, we probably should have done a little bit more research on all of that and how it was going to work, because we went from non-carbonated to carbonated, and then once we carbonated, retailers and bars were loving it as well. So
I'm loving the bubbles.
bubbles,
I'm a bubbles girl.
and like just and figuring out just the right amount of bubbles is also a huge challenge too. The carbonation is quite a process. So if you are thinking of starting a business, get the right people around you that can help you. We're not skilled at everything. So I'm not a graphic designer, and I'm not a flavor profile person either. I don't necessarily know all my wines. I love drinking wine and I love the alcohol industry. I love gin, but it doesn't mean that I know those
We need
things.
to hang out more.
We can. When I'm up in Sydney, when I actually can get out of here and get back up to Sydney, we'll do that.
Please.
So that was where it is. And through the Roger Hamilton experience that I went through in iLab, I figured out that I was a creator. So he has a great process, which I'll share with you as well. You can download a survey and figure out what sort of profile you are. So
I love this.
Yeah, so whether you're a creator or a supporter or a deal maker, you can actually figure out those details, and then make sure that you get those people around you in business, because that's actually what makes a successful business, is having the different skill sets. So
I think that's a really key thing to say, because we're not experts in everything. And every time I've tried to be Wonder Woman, which is a few times this lifetime, she whacks on the cape and tries to do everything, and then I end up exhausted or burnt out. And because you're educating yourself on so many different things, but know what you're good at,
absolutely,
and then bring everyone else in. And it's not a failure; it's being smart in business.
Exactly. No, it's not a failure at all.
We're not meant to know
I think
everything.
a lot of people do. No, and I think, I wasn't well, I'm still not great at numbers, but I do understand my numbers a hell of a lot more now. But make sure that you've got an accountant or a finance person in there that can really help you understand your books and your P&Ls and your cash flow, and stay on top of it, because that's what crumbles a lot of people by not understanding those things. It can really, really, and talk about fear. Wow, that's when it's really going to come and slap you like a fish in the face, so.
You and I can see it, our creative brains.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally, exactly.
Now, just as our final question,
Yes.
what for you would be, up until now, your most proud business moment for yourself?
Yeah, I thought about that. I think one day dream, because again, like when I first launched the business, everyone was like, one day dream, it's too long. And I was like, well, it all begins with a daydream. That's where it is. So it's like one daydream, all our thoughts from a creative perspective start there. So I was really excited by the name and loved the business. I think in 5 short years, we've worked with some of the best beauty brands around Australia. We've definitely become a beauty destination for people globally if they're launching here in Australia as well. The team is awesome. We worked really hard on culture. So everyone within the dream team, and that's the PR side of the business too, are wonderful girls and boys and hard workers, and are really respectful to each other. And I think that's what I'm really proud of, because once you get that team right, the rest will flow, and team is really everything. So I would have to say that with One Day Dream for sure.
Oh, it's just nice to hear. And I think just talking about what you learned from your mentor at Sports Girl, and then what you put into your business, because you see the value in people. And when you see
Yes.
that, And I think, I see so many people sometimes when they're leading a team and they push them with fear. And I don't respond well in fear, neither does most people when you see what's happened with the virus. And there's that negative energy. So I think what you've done in creating that beautiful energy and empowering people to have the confidence in themselves to move forward is just, a really beautiful thing in business. And it'd be nice to see more of it, because you hear a lot of people that aren't so satisfied within their roles working for people.
100%. And you know what? It's the fear of the boss that's doing that. It's nothing else. It's actually the fear of the boss that's doing it.
Always, because
Yeah.
you see it, and look, I don't work necessarily in corporate, but you see it within a lot of people, or even on a big set. If the big creative director is like, okay, what's your ideas? Tell me, and they might knock you down, but in a nice way. You know
I,
what? I think we can use a part of that, but let's just keep going. And it's the way that they get you to keep going without feeling shut down. And I think
100%.
it works, within an office, and it works within a creative environment. It is all relative information.
Yeah, like creating a safe space is the
Yeah.
best thing that you can do for people to be able to share. So, and also, I mean, I don't think rejection is a bad thing. I think we touched on it earlier,
Yeah.
because that just makes you stronger as well, and makes you, well, the next thing that I'm going to do is going to be fantastic, and they're going to listen this time.
Yeah.
So, it gives you a bit more fire in your belly. I think sometimes when you're rejected, a little bit more
Oh yeah,
fire.
I've been rejected a lot.
Yeah. Don't worry,
But
so have I. But look at you now.
but it's
Exactly.
nice, look, at the time it's crap. And it's, it's a bit, oh, okay. But it's like, well,
Yeah.
hang on a second, I've got ideas. Like, I want to be good. I want to be great in this lifetime. So, okay, if this one's not it, what else have I got? Come on.
Yeah.
Prue, we've got our last final thing, which is our 1 minute makeup quiz with me. So
Yes.
I'm going to shoot and you're going to fire. And
Excellent. No, good,
I
good.
have to look at my notes because
Me too.
remember them off by heart, so excuse us for looking down. We are actually thinking, and that's about it. All right, so here we go. The 1 minute makeup quiz. Your favorite beauty campaign of all time?
I think it actually had to be the Dove campaign for Real Beauty, where they were sketching the women, and then it came out with them explaining themselves, and then they got the other actually sketch what that person looked like. And I thought that was a beautiful campaign of what a real woman is. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Favorite makeup product under 25 bucks?
Edible Beauty, the makeup removal puffs. They're $14. They're 100% natural, hypoallergenic, and reusable and biodegradable. Amazing, amazing.
Geez, I love that one. That was a full press release on that. I
Yeah.
love
No,
it.
I took my notes just to get it
I
right.
love it. And your favorite makeup product over $25?
Yeah, I would have to say the Beauty Blender original blenders. I mean, I just love the bounce sponges. They're just incredible. So, I mean, they're only $30. But then the bounce concealers and the bounce foundations are awesome too. So,
Yeah. All right. If you had to choose one shade of lippy, what would it be?
I'm loving, and I know that this is one of my clients as well, but Napoleon Purtis's Matte-tastic lipstick in Ava. I love a peachy pink look.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Sometime.
yeah, exactly. I know. It's quite rude. Anyway, yes, let's go.
Favorite beauty icon?
I love Cindy Crawford. I think she's
Oh,
gorgeous.
me too.
Yeah, I love her.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah,
almost showing our age.
yeah, I know, right? I know.
Now, this is your signature fragrances throughout the decades for 20s, 30s, and 40s.
So
Hit me.
Issey Miyake in my 20s.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always a goodie.
Always a goodie. Frederick Malle, Portrait of a Lady, was definitely my 30s. When I got married, that was definitely, it's a really, really strong fragrance. So funnily enough, I can't wear it anymore. And then in my 40s, the Mason Margiela, I think you say it's Replica. It's at Mecca actually. And Lazy Sunday Morning is just unreal. I found it in New York about 2 years
Ah,
ago and I love it. So Replica.
I'm gonna have to
Yep.
go and sniff some perfumes when this COVID thing is done.
I'm
Two
a
I
big
don't know
fra-
about. I'm like, what's been going on? What have I missed out on?
I'm a big fragrance fan. I love them. I love them.
Awesome.
Ah.
All right, what's your favorite haircut or color you've ever had?
I think it needs to be the balayage. I think like I'm always with a bit of, brown
Mm.
and blonde. So definitely for me.
Yeah. What about your worst haircut or color?
I think I put a fringe on myself way back when I was going through my change. I did a fringe and the fringe just was not right. My husband was like, "What have you done?" And at another stage, I went like dark red because my hair has a lot of red in it. When they dyed it, it just went this terrible, terrible color. Yeah, dark red. No, 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 no. No.
Yeah, I've had plenty, don't you worry. Skincare or beauty product that you just can't live without.
Yeah, the Ulla Henriksen Transform Walnut Scrub. It smells like cookies and cream, and it is the best
Yum.
scrub for your face. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find a few new things out there.
Yeah.
What was the best beauty tip you've ever been given covering hair, makeup, or skincare?
I think it's more about contouring, and I'm still trying to get to that point, but just to really highlight your cheekbones, your jawline, and your nose, that can really just transform your face. So, and even putting a lighter concealer up under your contouring, I think really helps to shape your face a lot more. So I'd say that was the best tip. Yeah, Jay Kisnorbo told me that one. I loved that tip. So
Oh, I
yeah,
love it. I love it.
she's
And do
always
you know,
like, don't be perfect. She's like, you don't need to be perfect. Just do it. Just blend. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and you always remember who gave you the tip too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always remember that. It's
Always.
something, yeah. Go-to nail color.
Any pink. It's like light or dark. I love a pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Light or dark. Deep pink or light. Yep.
Brilliant. Favorite 90s makeup product.
Nude. You'll love this. Nude by Nature bronzer and Australis clear mascara.
Oh, the clear mascara. I loved it. Loved it. Yep.
We
Yep.
didn't have much choice back then, though. We just didn't have much choice, did
No,
we? Really? No.
no. I have plenty of hideous photos. I actually
Yeah.
burned
Yeah.
a few of them from the 90s.
I know tops. I know
Oh,
tinsel
yeah.
jeans. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you could have one product only in COVID lockdown, what would you be?
I think the Sand and Sky pink clay mask. I mean, any masking I think during lockdown is amazing. It's
Yep.
definitely the new lipstick of the recession, they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Sand and Sky pink clay mask is unreal. It just brings out the impurities and gives you beautiful feeling skin. So yeah, I'll have to send you some. I'll get you some over. It's really good.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right. Now, my favorite and the final question to finish up what we're doing today. In 3 words or less, what does beauty mean to you?
So spirit, smile, and mind.
Oh, I'm giving you a
Definitely.
big virtual hug right now. If we're in the same room, I wouldn't be able to keep social distance, or maybe my energy would be bouncing right off you. But
I love it. I love it. No, I know. Very good. No, definitely. Beauty to me is not about the face at all. It's just about what's inside, and people's minds is what gets me going. I think it's great. So yeah,
oh, hence why we're doing these things because I'm trying to get into your
correct.
mind for our
I
brilliant
know.
brains, beautiful minds, and
I love it. It's great,
yeah.
Melanie. Well done on it. It's awesome.
Oh,
Good job to
thank
you.
you.
Keep keep
Thank you for giving me the
keep
time
going.
today because I'm so appreciative because I do love the way your brain
Of
works and
course.
I've followed you for a lot of years. So to have these
Thank
conversations
you.
with women that, I find are really inspiring excites me. So thank you, Pro.
Yeah. Ah, you're welcome. Thanks so much for the chat. It's been fun and so good to
Yes.
do during lockdown.
Yeehaw. Like the show in a
Cheers.
farm.
Cheers
Yeehaw.
to that. Cheers to
Cheers.
that.
Oh, thanks so much, Pro.
All right. Thanks, Melanie.